I welcome 1500ESPN.com. Derek Wetmore and Andrew Kramer here out at Mall of America Field, where the Vikings were dismantled by the Packers on Sunday Night Football. Let's just get to some numbers right away. We've got injury updates, Jennings, Rodgers, Ponder stuff, but the numbers are glaring here, and I'll let Andrew read them off. Their third down defense, Andrew, was particularly bad tonight.
Yeah, well, first off, the Packers didn't have to punt. Their punter didn't have to show up today. They could have just, deactivated him and had somebody else take his roster spot for the game because they scored on all 8 of their drives. Going off of that, well, except to end the game, but going off of that, they were 13 of 18 on third down conversions, and then 2 of those misses, they had fourth down conversions. Right. So really it was 15 of 18. The Vikings overall had 3 stops total. By far their worst performance on third down in any game this season. Even Jared Allen was reportedly seen mouthing words on television, something along the lines of one of the worst defenses he's played for, which arguably with these stats, they've given up at least 27 or 23 points, each game this year. That's not far-fetched, even if he was saying something else that wasn't, as hitting.
Basically, he's not wrong.
Basically, he's not wrong. Yeah, and afterwards, he just talked about how embarrassing it was over and over. The same quotes. Brian Robinson just said, listen, we're running out of ways to explain why we can't do this. It's the same plays. It's the same execution breakdowns. They were all saying it's not a lack of effort.
Right.
Which, looking at it, it certainly doesn't seem like it, but they're put in these positions game after game. You have to wonder if this is how much of it's a coaching thing and how much of it are players being in the wrong positions. But flat out, they were beat on the defensive side of the ball, and offense wasn't much better with Christian Ponder.
Yeah, a lot of people focus on the quarterback situation, and rightfully so, but this defense is so dreadful that really it would be hard to overcome that. I mean, they did score 31 points tonight. Now, one of those was a return touchdown by Cordero Patterson to open the game. But Christian Ponder talked this week about, well, I've already been benched. It can't get any worse than this. I might beg to differ after that performance because Christian Ponder really didn't do anything to solidify himself as the starter. He talked this week out at Winter Park about, he wants to take this job, take it by the reins and just run with it and not give it back even when the other quarterbacks are healthy and ready to play. Frankly, I would not be shocked to see him not start next Sunday. He didn't do anything this game to prove that he deserves to be that starting quarterback.
He really didn't, not at all. I mean, if you just take a look over his numbers real quick, Ponder went 14 for 21 for 145 yards and took 3 sacks. There were no turnovers on the night. Now, if you were to throw out 2 misleading stats for the Vikings offense, if we were to tell you this, Vikings fans, before the game, that Ponder would have somewhere in the range of 85 to 90 quarterback rating and the Vikings would not turn the ball over, you're like, oh, well, they're in the game, right? Not at all. 10 of their points were scored in the meat of it. Obviously, the first opening touchdown, Cordero Patterson on the opening drive put them up 7-0. They never had the lead after it was tied 7-7, and they were down 10-7. But what happened was they had 2 touchdowns in garbage time that made this one look a lot more respectable. But easily, it could have been 44-17 or worse. Patterson's 7 points buffers them a little bit more. They had 10 points on offense after getting shut out the week before, and then after having just what did they put up? 10 points on offense against Carolina, the touchdown at the very end, so they had 3 points in that. Overall, this offense has been absolutely abysmal, but their defense has been just as poor.
Yeah, they talk about being inconsistent all the time, and I would counter with that this team has actually been very consistent on offense and defense. It's just been consistently poor.
Very much so, and they didn't come away with this one totally unscathed. Jamarcus Sanford had a groin injury. He had to leave in the second quarter. They listed his return as questionable, but he just never came back. Apparently, he was going to return only in emergency situations, but they were never really in this ballgame in the second half to begin with, so he didn't have to risk that. Yeah. Jared Allen took a stinger also in the first half where he had to come off and take his shoulder pads, loosen his shoulder pads a little bit and take a breather. He had just said after the game they took a stinger right in his sternum, and that was basically it. There's no worries about him, but it looks like
he returned it.
He returned, yeah, he returned it, was just fine. So other than that, though, looks like the 2 starting safeties, obviously Harrison Smith has been out for 2 weeks. He'll be out at least 6 more, likely the year now with how this team is playing because they won't be in it. And then Jamarcus Sanford now had an ankle injury this week, and now he has a groin injury. We'll see how he develops. But other than that, there was Greg Jennings' stat line to talk about.
Just the final takeaway was the Aaron Rodgers versus Greg Jennings little tete-a-tete with the media is totally one-sided at this point. Aaron Rodgers absolutely got the last laugh.
Who's to say it wasn't always one-sided?
That's true. Yeah, Greg Jennings embraced his former quarterback at midfield after the game today. They talked for about 30 seconds, it looked like. Now, Jennings didn't speak with the media in the locker room after the game, but he did tell KSTP Sports, just gave the basic generic quotes. A lot of football left, long season. He did not address the Rodgers situation, and I haven't heard from the Packers locker room yet whether Rodgers addressed it, but what is there to say at this point? I think Aaron Rodgers wins in a laugher with that war of words.
And the Vikings did not make Greg Jennings available to the media. Usually they just let whoever talk, including guys like Jared Allen, who are usually very vocal after losses like this. But they didn't let Greg talk, whether it was Greg not wanting to or the Vikings not wanting him to talk. Either way, it was probably a win-win on their part, but not for us.
Right. Well, that does it for us at Winter Park today. We had a lot to get to in today's video, so appreciate you sticking to the end. For Andrew Kramer, I'm Derek Wetmore, 1500ESPN.com.